Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Sheffield, along with my good friend
Artemis Brower.
We're coming to you this week with episode 216.
Yes, sir.
216. Artemis,
Talk to me.
how we doing?
We're good. We're good. We are alive. We are healthy. We are fresh off of a pirate victory. A few pirate victories, actually. And we're doing well. We're doing well.
Good.
How about you?
Yeah.
How are you living?
I'm good. I've had a crazy couple of days. So went to the game Saturday, came home, went to a Halloween party late that night, didn't get back to my house until about 2 a.m.
Jeez. Honestly, we kind of had the same night except for going to the game. I had to be at my Halloween party at 6 o'clock, though.
And then Sunday night, I flew to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and then flew back yesterday afternoon. And yeah, it's just been kind of a whirlwind of a past 3 days. Feels like I've been all over the place. So,
seasoned traveler, Jared Sheffield.
Yeah, I've been everywhere, man. As Johnny Cash says, I've been everywhere. But all's good. I mean, we're on, I think, our third ear infection in the last 5 weeks with my daughter. So getting over that, trying to get through that. We're on the up and up, but everything else is good. We're peachy.
Big. She should never have another ear infection in her life with the amount she's had.
Yeah, it's one of those things when they start going to preschool and they're young and get every sickness out there. It's just part of it. But we'll be all right. She's gonna be all right. But Artie.
Yes.
Number 16. Do you have a 16 for me?
I believe I do have a 16 for you, and I just got to confirm that this player did wear 16. I'm pretty sure he did. Just off the top of the dome, I'm pretty sure he did. But I gotta confirm it real quick. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna go for it because I do believe he wore it. This is actually one of my favorite players, basketball players, little known basketball. Well, he's not little known, but he's. It's not chalk. It's not like a little known guy. It's kind of one of those guys. It's like if you don't love the sport, you probably just haven't really paid attention to his career, but he really is borderline Hall of Fame, really, really great player. That's one Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol, the Spaniard, I believe, played for the Los Angeles Lakers, longtime LA Laker, won 2 championships, I believe, with the Los Angeles Lakers, along with Kobe Bryant, was a pivotal cog in championship teams with Kobe and Derek Fisher and Lamar Odom and all those, that entire squad. That was just a tremendously underrated squad, in my opinion. But yeah, that would probably be my 16 for the week. One Pau Gasol, my guy. He's still around, still lurking in the NBA. Got his hands and his knowledge everywhere in the game. And people that actually know the game of basketball are big fans of Pau Gasol. So that would be my 16 for the week.
That's a good one. I'm going to go. I feel like there's a lot of people that I thought wore 16 that didn't wear 16. And I'm going to go off the hip here. I'm going to go. This is chalk. And I can't remember what his number was in the pros, but I know it was his number in college. Peyton Manning. Did he wear 16 in the pros too?
No, he wore 18. He wore 18 in the pros. I know that for a fact. He wore 1-8 in the pros.
Yeah. But, okay. I thought so, but no, he wore 16 at Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
no, that's absolute chalk, but that's a good one.
But is it chalk because it's his college jersey?
Yeah, he was the number 1 overall draft pick. He was great, Tennessee.
Yeah, but like, hey, I mean, you give me some slack though. You took Tim Tebow last week, so
that's true. That's true.
No, I mean, and I could have gone somebody like Tyler Lockett That's who I was gonna go.
Good one. Good one.
Another good one. Joe Montana.
Absolutely. Young ones
Absolute
don't know
chalk.
about Joe no more.
Joe's doing isn't Joe doing a bunch of like infomercials?
Yeah,
No.
the Nugenics commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That might be Doug
yeah.
Flutie. Actually, now I think about it, I don't know. It's one of them.
It's one of those old heads, but
Yeah.
my number 16. And Josh, you can correct. Did Greg Biffle ever drive the 16 car? See, I was looking.
Yes. Yes. The
I
Biff
thought so.
did drive the 16.
I thought so. But then when I looked up Greg Biffle's numbers, it never showed 16. And I was like, that's the number I remember him driving. Did he drive the 44? I don't know. I don't know what he drove, but I know I was like, he definitely drove.
Yes. Yeah. I'm about to say he drove the 16. Yeah, he definitely drove the 16.
Yeah.
3M. And then it was Cheez-Its. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely drove the 16.
Did he ever drive the Sitco car?
Sitco? I don't think so.
Like way back in the day?
I don't think so.
Maybe not. But I was gonna go Greg Biffle at first, but then I couldn't confirm it, and so I went chalk. All right, those are a bunch of 16s that I just named off the top of my head. All right, Artie, lots going on at ECU. Most notably, I mean, we're gonna talk. Look, a little preview of this episode. We're gonna talk a lot of different sports. We're gonna talk ECU football, but we're gonna also talk quite a bit of ECU women's soccer and ECU volleyball.
Yes, sir.
And I guess I should just say ECU soccer. We don't have a men's team, so we're talking a lot of women's athletics here today on the Boneyard podcast. Giving these girls the respect and giving them the credit that is due, because look, both these teams are on absolute heaters. So yeah, we're gonna talk to some athletes from both those teams later on in the podcast. But first, let's talk a little bit about ECU football. Let's talk about the weekend that was. ECU absolutely, like, that game was close early on.
Yeah.
And I was kind of worried in the first quarter, like, oh shit, are we going to actually lose to Temple? Like, this can't be happening. But then things just started clicking, and ECU had a day.
Had a day they did. That's just a get right game, man. That's a classic get right game. You are in a crossroads right now in the season, in your program. Obviously, you had the coaching change, and it can go one of two ways. It can just fall down a cliff and spiral out of control, and you don't win another game this season. Or you can galvanize your troops like Blake Harrell did, like JDB did, like that locker room, like those players did, and say, okay, we're not going to go out like this. We're going to at least get it right for this week, right? There's stiffer competition outside of Temple. We know that, and we know this is 2-6 Temple that we just beat. But nonetheless, that's a get right game. You got to have those if you're going to get right on the season. If you're going to get to bowl eligibility, you've got to beat teams like Temple, and you've got to beat them the way that you did. And you've got to score the way that you did, and your offense has to be able to show and perform the way they did. That's the best offensive performance we have seen in quite some time. That explosion, I mean, that predates even the whole Nailers teams, right? I mean, that kind of explosion that you had on offense, 5 different receivers scoring a touchdown. Caden Hauser has 5 touchdown passes. So yeah, he had the 2 picks, but I mean, that kind of day, and then Raji doing his thing too, absolutely incredible.
I promised the group chat, Artie, and you were in the group chat. I promised the group chat I would apologize and say that I was wrong. Early on, when ECU went to Caden Hauser, I said this is not the right move. I believe that Jake Garcia should have been the guy. I do feel like the time he was pulled in Charlotte, I thought that was strange.
And I
timing of that. But after seeing 2 weeks of Caden Hauser and how this offense kind of clicks,
yeah,
Yeah, you lost to Army, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Here's the thing: Caden Hauser has touch. He has finesse. He has a little more finesse than Jake Garcia, and I don't. That's not a slight to Jake Garcia by any means.
Right.
You can just tell that he has a little more finesse on the ball, and in this offense where you're throwing it downfield quite a bit, you need that. You need to be able to hit a man downfield and hit him in stride. You need to be able to know when to put a little more air under the ball versus, okay, I got to fire it in there every time on a line drive.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still seeing some drops, but we're not seeing nearly as many drops as we saw with Jake Garcia.
Right.
And I think that's a product of chemistry. And also I noticed that ECU slowed the tempo down quite a bit this past weekend against Temple, and look what happened. I mean, just absolutely went off. Yeah, Caden Hauser threw for two interceptions, but I mean, that second interception honestly was more of like an arm punt. The DB should have honestly probably just let that one go on fourth down. He intercepted it. He would have had it, I believe. Temple would have had it at the ball at like the 28-yard line, but instead they had it at the 10-yard line because he made an interception. So ECU actually kind of lucked out that he intercepted that one. But and then the other one was a tip pass at the line. And it's just kind of a strange play. And those things happen, but it's not making the wrong throw. It's okay, you just got beat on one play, right? Or something funky happened, or it's not I tried to force a pass that I didn't need to force. So yeah, I want to say that I was wrong. I promised the group chat that I would say that on the podcast, and here I am. I'm a man of my word. I was wrong. Caden Hauser should have been the starting quarterback all year long, and if he was, I think Mike Houston still has a job.
Well, look, to our credit as well, though, we both said preseason we thought Caden Hauser was the guy. We never, ever said that we thought Garcia won the job over Hauser. So we did think Hauser was going to be the day one starter.
Preseason, Artie, I think, yeah, preseason we definitely said that. And I think overall we would have been right. Like, I think most people were saying that. Josh.
I can't say for sure because I am not physically there, nor am I a medical professional. But there's a reason why Caden did not start the beginning of the season, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I had heard. I mean, I think we had all heard that he was dealing with something early on in the season. But nonetheless, he's the starter now, and I think it's perfect timing for him. I mean, he's gonna be able to finish out the year, and then this should be his team next year, right? So he's got time. With that, I mean, it's nice to see the offense click. This is the most points ECU has scored since they dropped 70 on the Tar Heels.
Yep.
Right? I mean, back on, I'm looking for the date on my picture hanging above. Yeah. I think it was September 21st, 2014.
That's literally the game that has the most photographed picture of ECU football in the history. Every ECU alum has that photo in the house.
I've got it above my desk. Anytime somebody stumps me on a question at work, I look at that. I look where I am in the Boneyard. I can see myself. I see my wife with her Carolina blue scarf, that piece of trash scarf. No, ECU. ECU scored the most points ever that they had, or in their history in the American, in that game.
Yeah.
And then also most points since the Chapel Hill game. So it was really nice, and it seemed like everything clicked. It was very nice to see Blake Harrell. I saw him pregame. He gave me a fist bump, and I don't know. It's just so nice to have him doing these things and knowing Blake personally and Coach Harrell personally, having met his family multiple times, it couldn't be happening to a better person. I'll say that. And it was, I was worried. Like I said, I was worried that, ECU's fired their coach. They're going to falter down the stretch, so on and so forth. But they didn't. Already bad to the bone player of the week. I know we didn't put it out on social media. My vote's gonna go to Caden Hauser. I think the 4 nominees or the 3 nominees that were in there were Rajay Harris, Jamarly Riddle, and then Caden Hauser. I'm gonna put my vote to Caden Hauser. Now, Jamarly Riddle had 2 interceptions, 1 for a pick 6, started his first game as a Pirate and as a true freshman. I mean, that's great. And then Raj over 100 yards with 1 touchdown. But to be able to hit 5 receivers on 5 touchdown passes, that's special.
Agree. No, that's a good one. Honestly, I'm gonna do a trio. I'm gonna just cause I can and I don't care. So I'm gonna do Raj. I'm gonna do Anthony Smith. I'm gonna do Chase Sowell. Those are gonna be my collective 3 bad to the bone players of the week. Just collectively what they did for that offense. I know it was 5 different receivers that scored, but Chase and Anthony Smith, they obviously had the biggest days of the bunch, and they both scored. And Raj did his thing. So without those 3, Caden doesn't do what he does. So, yeah, I'm putting in Raj, Chase Sowell, and Anthony Smith.
And
play the week.
Before we move on, I want to give a special shout-out. London Montgomery opened a bunch of eyes on Saturday. I mean,
yeah,
we've seen him in spurts throughout the year, but watching him run, and I put a tweet out about this, watching him run, I'm not going to say he's as fast as Keaton Mitchell, but he has that explosiveness. He has that shiftiness. He can break ankles out there. That guy, him and Yannick Smith are 2 guys that you absolutely have to keep going into next year. No matter who the head coach is, those are 2 guys that you've got to build this program around going into the future.
Agree. Absolutely agree.
All right. Anything else on football? Josh, did you have anything else that you wanted to add other than maybe Blake Harrell and JDB being on the sidelines?
Yeah, I mean, just seeing that camaraderie between the coaches, it was different because both coordinators have been in the box all season, so we haven't really had eyes on them and seeing how they respond to each other during the game. And I guess even if it was because there were eyes on them, at least they understood there's eyes on you this week. Like, we can see you, we see how you're interacting.
Yep.
Like if you both want to be here next year and you want to keep this entire staff together, like, these are the kind of things that people are going to be looking for. So I think that it was a great first game for both of them, and I really hope that something good can come out of the season.
And I'll say this: Jari Patterson talked about it in the post game, being able to hear a familiar voice on the sideline. Like, this guy's coaching him all week long, and then to be able to hear him on the sideline,
right,
was comforting. Right, it was either him or Caden Hauser that talked about it, but I'm pretty sure it was Jari Patterson talking about it post game. And I don't want to spend too much time on it. We can talk about this more in a future podcast, but we were kind of tipped off before the game about some of the culture in the locker room, pre firing of Mike Houston, and the greatness of the culture or the great culture that they kept presenting, or he kept presenting to the media and to the fans.
Probably
it doesn't sound like that was. It doesn't sound like that was 100% true, and we actually confirmed that with some former players, some former athletes, saying that, hey, while we had a good culture, that culture was built by the athletes. It wasn't built as much by Houston and his staff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we talked to multiple players after the game and during the game even, and former athletes, and they said that the culture wasn't because of Mike Houston. It was the athletes doing what they needed to do to build that culture. Right. And it seemed like that team really came together on Saturday.
Well, yeah, and you can tell. So, you can absolutely tell that they did. And it's not going to work long term, but that little two-headed monster combo of Harold and JDB on the sideline, one doing offense, one doing defense, they will coordinate together. Like,
the election's next week, and they both have my vote after Saturday. But all right, that good victory, ECU. That was a good one. That felt good. But let's shift gears, Artie. We talk about football every single week. We talk about all sports. Try to every single week. Mm-hmm. Now let's give some credit where it's due. Right. We've talked about the amazing seasons that ECU soccer and ECU volleyball have been having, and we've been saying, hey, we need to have some of these girls on the podcast. This week we're having a lot of them. We got 4 guests on this week's podcast. We're going to bring in 2 of our ECU soccer athletes now, Sydney Schnell and Kylie Alvarez. Welcome to the Boneyard podcast. How's it going, ladies?
Hi.
What's going on?
How are we doing? So, yeah, I mean, welcome to the Boneyard podcast. Thanks for joining us. I know it's so late on a okay. What is it, Tuesday night?
Yeah, it's okay.
This year, I mean, it seems like y'all have been on the come up for the last 2-3 years, but this year something's really started to click. What's going on in that locker room and within that team?
Do you want to go first? I would just say, there was a lot of us that came back for our 5th years. We have a really big senior class that's graduating. And after our really good run last year, we came together before the season started and we just laid out set goals that we wanted to have before the season started and what it was going to do or what it was going to take to obtain those goals. And I think because we've been around the program for so long, everyone's bought in and they just want to make it a good last year for the people who have been around for a while.
I think we also had our new coaching change. Gary Higgins came in and Evan, and they both are from, Europe. And I just think that they brought a lot of new soccer skills, and they've taught us so many new things that we haven't learned previously. And we also have now the most international players we've ever had on a team before, and they really bring a lot of different qualities to our team. So I think that's really helped. Along with right now, we have a squad of 33 girls, which is a really big soccer team to have, but it really helps. We have a bench that comes into as strong as the starters. So that's been awesome.
Awesome. And, sitting at 7-3-6 overall, like what is the overall goal that you ladies would say to finish the season? What do you ladies want to accomplish to finish?
Well, I mean, heading into the conference tournament, we would like to win a conference championship if we can. But we just wanted each year basically to improve our record, whether that's away or home, more than it did the year before. So in terms of overall goal, it would be to win a conference championship, but also like we have little goals within that, just within our team that we wanted to accomplish.
Yeah, and like this year was the first year that we've been undefeated away from home. So I feel like what Kylie said, just we tick off those little goals along the way. And obviously the big goal is to make it to the NCAA tournament, which we've never done before. So I think that would be our next goal. We're already in the conference tournament as of right now, so we're excited about that, but still want to become 3rd, which we've never done either. And if we beat Rice on Thursday, we could do that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, big game this Thursday against Rice. It's Halloween night, paint it black in Johnson Stadium. I mean, big opportunity to leap over the Owls to get into solo third. How are the ladies feeling about this game? Or what do y'all need from the fans to really kind of drive the momentum?
I mean, I think all the girls are really, really excited. We've never played Rice as of, at least our class has never played Rice before. They're new in the conference, and this year they're supposed to be really, really good. It is nice that we already have, we're already going to the conference tournament, but I think everyone's excited and up for the game just to play Rice for the first time and then potentially move up in the rankings.
I also think it's a bit of an emotional night just because it is a lot of our last home games in Johnson for the rest of our careers. So there's a lot of emotions riding on it, which I think gets people on the team even more amped up for the game. And hopefully the fans feel that same energy and they bring just as much as we bring to help us push through and get the win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For those that don't maybe know much about the program, have maybe not tuned in the way they should, what would you like the rest of Pirate Nation to know about this particular squad, this team, and everything they've accomplished this season?
I mean, we're just a gritty team. We're a gritty team. We're always kind of viewed in our conference as the underdogs because, you look at teams like Memphis, they're nationally ranked. Teams like USF, when it comes to our record against them, pretty sure they beat us out. They've won the most times against us. So a lot of people look at us as either like an easy game to win or one that shouldn't be that challenging. But I think people need to understand that there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into this program every day from everybody on the team, whether you're a starter or a sub or freshman, doesn't matter your class. And I think it's just important that people, I don't know, what would you say, like give us?
Yeah, I mean, from our freshman year to like now, I feel like we've always been seen as almost the underdogs. But this year, we beat State, we tied Memphis, so we're, coming close to really, really tough teams and nationally ranked teams. And I feel like it's not so much for the underdogs anymore, and we actually have a chance at, beating really, really good teams.
For sure, yeah, and it seems like, and as y'all know this already, you hear a lot of Pirates, especially Pirate athletes and even fans, talk about this underdog mentality and chip on your shoulder mentality that a lot of ECU Pirates have, right? Whether you're a fan or an athlete or alumni or even administration or whatever. Talk to me about that part of being a Pirate, and it just seems like ECU does so much, all of our programs, but especially this year with soccer and even volleyball, seems like that chip on the shoulder is a big, like, motivating factor.
Yeah, I think for our team especially, we like having that chip on our shoulder. We almost like being the underdogs because we love that feeling of proving a point and proving people wrong. I think NC State was a great point to that. We went in and they had over 2,000 fans and we dominated the game. And I think it just showed us that we can compete at such a high level from what we might not even think. And I think that chip on our shoulder just makes us play that much better.
It brings everyone together on the team too. We all kind of get together and it's just like, we're going to do this. Like, we're not going to let people think that this is some program that they can look down on. And that kind of mentality definitely gives us that competitive edge over some of the teams in both in our conference and out of our conference that we play. So yeah, I think having the chip on the shoulder is definitely a big motivating factor for us.
Yeah. And with that, sorry, Artie, I know it was probably your turn to ask a question.
No, go ahead.
I think it's a good follow-up. A question I like to ask all ECU athletes and anybody I talk to from ECU is, what does it mean to you to be a Pirate? Like, I mean, when you say I'm a Pirate, what does that mean?
I think coming here, one of my big deciding factors on even coming to ECU was just the fact that Pirate Nation and everyone living around our school supports Pirate Athletics, and all the other athletes support one another. And there's just such a big supportive culture around ECU as a whole. And then with Pirate Athletics, it's just even more awesome. So I think being a Pirate is just being proud to go to ECU and support other teams. And I guess we all have that chip on our shoulder, all the athletes, but I feel like we're proving teams wrong and schools wrong. So it's really awesome to have.
Yeah, definitely like it feels like a family. Not even just within your own team, but like other teams, because all the athletes, they support each other. Like, you could just meet a donor and you feel their support like automatically. Like, I'm so grateful for Pirate Nation. I think everybody on our team can say that. Like, it feels like a family, regardless of what team it is or who you meet. Everybody just loves the Pirates. So
Now, I am curious because the away record that you ladies have, it's incredible, right? And it almost feels like it should be the home record. So why do you ladies feel like you've had so much success maybe away from the friendly confines on the road as maybe opposed to at home?
Well, kind of like I said before, I think our team really does strive with like the chip on our shoulder. I think the team being away from home always is supposed to be the team that I guess is, the underdog a little bit, just because you're not in you're traveling, you're going on planes, you're busing, you're going on long trips. So I think the fact that we just enjoy the challenge of the travel, and we've just done really good away from home. And our goal is to, be that way at home as well. But I think just having that challenge of being the best we can be away from home has really helped us succeed.
Yeah. And I think that we've had that competitive edge still when we have played at home. It's just sometimes it doesn't fall your way. And although there are a couple games like we wish we could take back, we learned from it. We bounced back from it, especially if we went on the road. The next game we dominated and we made sure to come back from whatever happened at home. Mm-hmm. So bounce back ability was a really big thing for our team this year.
And I think there's something to the team bonding aspect, especially when you have a newer coaching staff and you've got the largest team, it seems like in a long time for soccer, and then also bringing in a bunch of freshmen and international students, like you said. It feels like there's some of that team bonding that's able to happen on the road rather than when you got to go to class and you're like doing your schoolwork and your other things that you've got to do when you're in Greenville. Talk to me about some of those. What's it like bonding? Like what's one of the team bonding things that y'all do? Maybe it's I saw some not from soccer, but I saw some videos of other teams like going to the movies recently and whatnot while on the road. Like what's something y'all do?
I mean, like you said, when you're traveling, you're on the road. It is different from being home because we're all kind of in our own spaces and we're going to class. On the road, you have no choice than to be with each other 24/7. So we always go to, if there's any family members of any of our teammates in any of the places we're traveling to, it's really awesome. We'll go to their like family home and they'll usually cook dinner for us. So it's really nice. It's almost like having a home cooked meal. And everyone really loves doing that. We went to the beach last year and all swam in the ocean. So just little things like that really have been fun away from home.
Yeah. Sometimes it depends on how long the trip is too. Because for a Sunday game, you fly down on Saturday. So you have scouting report, team dinner, and then you wake up the next day, you have to go play, and then you get on the plane and go home that same day. So we haven't had too many like super long trips this year, but when we do, we try to like squeeze in some kind of activity, or if not, then it's like a team dinner, like Sydney said.
Now, I do like to ask like every athlete we have on the podcast. I just like to know
where this is going
because I'm curious. Yeah, any pregame rituals, superstitions, like anything that you ladies have to do before every single game that just gets you like, whether it's a playlist, whether it's certain food, like what is it?
I want to be a yoga instructor when I'm older. So I do my yoga before every single game. And then I'm not very superstitious, but Kylie does have to hit a long ball to me before we start every single game. And that's our little superstition.
Yeah. I would say for me, this season, a superstition of mine has definitely been having like a Red Bull before every game. That's probably not good, but it helps.
Funny enough, that used to be my superstition before ECU football games at tailgates. I would just shotgun about 3 of them.
That's definitely not good.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely one of my superstitions. And then probably like my pregame hair is a superstition. I'll have Sydney braid 2 braids, and then I'll put it in a bun. And if I don't have the braids, I feel like I'll play bad. So I guess that's a superstition.
Love it.
Yeah. Who's maybe the biggest character on the team? I feel like to be a goalkeeper, you got to be kind of a wacko. Not to say that Maeve is, but I mean, I feel like you got to have kind of a special like thing going on up there to do that. But who's maybe kind of the craziest person on the team?
Maeve is actually more mellow than I feel like most people would, because on the field she's a totally different person.
Yeah.
But I'd say definitely either a girl named Julie, who's from Uruguay. She's very energetic. She brings a lot of energy to the team, and she's funny. And then we have a freshman from England named Caitlin, who is also very energetic, and she's very outgoing. So that's been a lot of fun to have both of them here.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah.
No, I think you touched on that. Yeah. I mean, everybody is like different each day. Sometimes like someone who you wouldn't expect would just like be goofy or silly. We all kind of have the same personality in a way, which is awesome because that's why we get along so well.
Love that. Yeah. And that's why we do this podcast. We like to get to know the athletes more as a person than just an athlete. But, I mean, looking ahead and I mean, y'all are in your last year in the program, but looking ahead, like what do y'all envision for ECU soccer going forward? Like the foundation that y'all have helped build over your time here. What are you looking forward to for the next ECU soccer program?
I mean, just based on the kind of coach that Gary is and the leadership that he's brought to this team since he's been here, and implementing things like we have an ethos, like a team ethos, I feel like he's going to look for players with that same mentality that all of us have, because we all kind of came up with our team culture together. So honestly, I think it's just it's going to go up from here. I think they're going to be stronger each year. And he's going to bring in leadership and confident players and passionate players who are willing to be successful and do whatever it takes to be successful for this team. So I think it's definitely going to keep building and growing and becoming a bigger part of Pirate Nation, I guess.
Yeah, and I think just kind of what we've done over the past 2 to 3 years, just ticking off those goals every single year and doing something that we've never done before or in the previous year we didn't do. I think just watching the future team do that. And also there's a lot of 5th years and seniors leaving this year, and there's already girls stepping up in leadership and younger girls having a bigger role in that on the team. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see the team in the future.
Now, if you ladies go on to win a conference championship this year, how are we celebrating? What are we doing? We're going to speak that into existence. How are we celebrating?
Having a big party. Our house usually has everyone over, so we'll invite everyone over and have a big celebration.
The Power Way.
Lots of Red Bull.
Yeah.
Red Bull.
Yes. Yes.
Red Bull. No, great. Yeah, it's so exciting, and we saw it with women's basketball a couple years ago when nobody believed in them. Nobody was really like looking at them, and then they went on a kind of a miraculous run, and and they've continued on that run and been one of the top in the conference over the last year. I'm hoping that happens here with ECU soccer. It's really exciting, and I mean, it's football and baseball. They everybody talks about them, but it's really the sports like soccer and volleyball that you look at and you're like, wow, like they're doing that shit, like they're killing it. So we're really proud of y'all. And shout out to y'all. Go beat Rice this Thursday. I mean,
Yes.
it's gonna be, get out there on Halloween night before you go downtown. Go tailgate the soccer game. You degenerates, get out there. Shotgun
Thank
Red
you,
Bulls.
guys.
Yes, please.
We appreciate the support. We definitely need a lot. It's a big game.
It's a big game indeed. Now, one last question that we want to ask y'all, and this is the toughest question we're going to ask the entire podcast. Unless, Josh, did you have another thing that you wanted to ask? Anything that you wanted to get in? No, okay. This is the toughest question, y'all. I don't know if you've ever listened to the Boneyard podcast, but this is a question we ask all of our guests that are in some way related to ECU and have been at ECU for some time. So are you ready? This is, like I said, it's the toughest question ever. Have you ever heard or been to an establishment downtown called Sup Dogs?
Of
Yes.
course.
Okay. So the question is, when y'all go to Sup Dogs, what do you get? What's your order?
Yeah.
We have the same one.
Yeah, we both have the same order. I mean, I do switch every now and then, but most of the time it's pretty consistent.
Okay, let's give me the 1A order that y'all both have, and then when you switch it up, tell me what you get then.
I have only gotten one order every single time I go to Sup Dogs, and that is the smokehouse burger with fries and a Dr. Pepper or a Diet Dr. Coke or a Diet Coke.
Sometimes a cheer wine.
Cheer wine. Got to get a good cheer wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I do get the same. If I don't get that, my switch up order is just 2 plain hot dogs with fries.
Nothing on it at all. Just
naked dog.
Just
just a plain simple dog. That's
Okay.
all I need. With I dip it in Sup Dog sauce, of course. So
Okay.
I respect it. I'm not crazy about it, but I respect it.
okay.
No, it's a question we've asked. I think every guest we've ever had on that is related to ECU. Like, what's your Sup Dogs order? So we need to probably go back, Josh. Maybe we need to hire an intern. If y'all know anybody looking for an internship with a podcast, we don't pay much. We pay in nothing, but somebody go back and find out what everybody's answer has been, because we need to compile a list of
the most
top orders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you again for joining us on the Boneyard podcast. We really appreciate it. Tell everybody, like, what the game's 6:00 Thursday night?
7.
7. Get out there at 6:00. 5:30.
Yeah, gates do open at 6. So
Get out there in the parking lot at 4:00 in the afternoon. If you got a late afternoon class, 1, why are you going to class on Halloween? 2, like, come on, get right and get out there and support these ladies. They deserve it. Best of luck to y'all, and we'll be keeping up with y'all as you go into the conference championship next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you,
of
ladies.
course.
All right. Good night.
Night, y'all. Once again, that was Kylie Alvarez and Sydney Schnell from ECU Soccer. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. But Artie, let's switch gears. I see we have Fran and Ellie backstage, so we'll switch gears to them and talk some ECU volleyball, who is, I mean, just like soccer, on an absolute heater.
Yeah.
Absolute heater. Fran, Ellie, welcome to the Boneyard podcast. How we doing, my friends?
Good.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. I know it's 10:00 at night, so We really appreciate y'all giving us some time. First and foremost, just talk to us about this season, and it seems like kind of like when we talked to soccer just a minute ago. It seems like things have really like clicked kind of from the beginning, and y'all have been on, especially late as of late, been on like a crazy trajectory at the end of the season.
I think part of it is just carrying on from last year. I think we did a lot of good things last year that kind of just carried on, like building our culture for one. Our culture has been like a really big part of our success and like our bond as a team. Yeah.
Sorry, I think I was muted at first. Yeah, no, I think it's been such a good season so far. Our team is very connected and we have great chemistry, so that's been like super awesome to see. And obviously like we play so good together because of that. I think we've had a few injuries like at some bad times that we've had to kind of like work through, get some like younger people playing time, work through some different lineups, but I think we've kind of found something that's been working for us, and we're just trying to like perfect our craft almost, like every day, every practice, 1% better, and I think that's what we've been doing.
Love that, yeah. And you mentioned injury. I know our girl. We're here at the Boneyard Podcast. We are the #1 Izzy Marinelli fans.
Yes, we are.
If y'all didn't know, we've been on the Izzy train for I guess the better part of 2 years now, but. We'll get to talking about her here in a little bit. Don't y'all worry. But yeah, it seems like y'all really clicked, and I just from following Izzy, I see a lot of the TikToks and whatnot, and it seems like y'all are having a blast together.
No, yeah. I always say like I look forward to practice because it's like hangout time. Like I get to hang out with my best friends every day.
It's like designated hangout time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
like I don't know, everyone's like super funny. Like every time like I end up talking about the team, I'm always like, everyone is so funny. Like we're extremely unserious. It's like a sitcom like every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that builds to like how well you play on the court too, right? Like when everyone's like a big family, you kind of just laughing, camaraderie, like that goes into the culture and like how well you play. Yeah. So just like keep kind of feeding off of that, like who would you say is the character who kind of sets it off? Like who, when you walk into the rooms, like okay, as soon as I see that person, like it's on.
I think I wouldn't say there's just one person. I think everyone kind of has like someone that they go to find that like inner like peace or whatever they need in that moment, like the energy that you were saying. But for me, my like people that I'm like looking for, like if I need a laugh or if I'm feeling like stressed, like tight match, definitely Izzy, Tia, and Ollie. Those are like my 3.
I would say Carlia is definitely a big one. She just like really cracks me up and she kind of just gets me. So definitely her. I like to pick on Ollie. I pick on Ollie. I usually start it or she starts it. It doesn't matter. But basically either one of us is picking on each other for sure. Peyton really makes me laugh. I don't know. It's just like there's moments like if you like observe her, like it's just so funny to watch. I don't know how to like explain it.
She's so unserious. Like she always tells us like don't take it so seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
And it seems like I guess going back to the answer to the first question, it seems like it really has like brought y'all together and come together as a team. I mean, it's exciting to see what's going on. Now, I know, Fran, you transferred in. Ellie, I believe, did you transfer in from? No.
I'm a sophomore. I'm from Auburn,
okay.
though. A lot of times
that
announcers get it confused.
Okay, see, I feel like I heard that on ESPN, and I was like, and then I saw on Auburn, I was like, okay, like
you probably, yeah.
that. But I mean, Fran, you come from Mississippi State, like. What's it like coming from an SEC school to ECU?
Definitely a culture change, I would say. A different environment. Being at Mississippi State, it was kind of like it was a small school. Like campus was kind of like how it is here. Like the town was kind of surrounding the school. But like for like football game days, it like I always tell people like the cowbells were insane. Like that's something like I definitely will never forget. Like being in that stadium filled with cowbells, and it's the entire time. That's all you hear, the entire time. It gave me.
How do they not get annoyed by that? Like that is just awful.
You don't, or you just learn how to live with it. I mean, I got a headache like once or twice, but you just gotta push through it for real.
I was gonna ask because they do that in baseball too, I believe. Do they do that at volleyball, like at Mississippi State? Like, are people ringing cowbells at Mississippi State volleyball?
No, they didn't. They didn't allow noisemakers at the games, and especially after this one match, we played Syracuse, and on the last point, one of my teammates thought that the whistle got blown, but really it was one of the girls on the Syracuse team, and we ended up losing the match because of that. So after that, they would display like absolutely no noisemakers like on the screen or whatever. So that was super interesting. But with ECU, it's like it's just I don't know. I feel like I just found a place where I can just feel calm, I guess. And I know like ECU, like it's a party school for sure. Yeah. But it's just like I really needed like a fresh like environment for sure. And it's kind of I don't know. It's a nice change to be honest. There's a lot more to do to be also
than Starkville for sure.
Yeah.
G Vegas is better than Stark Vegas, baby. Love it.
Artie, it looked like you had a question, nah?
Oh yeah, no, I just kind of get into the volleyball aspect of it because I do want to ask you. 14-6 overall, but dominant at home. I mean, 8-0 at home. What do you think has gone into you ladies just dominating, at home, haven't lost a game yet?
I think, well, obviously, like, it's home, Minji's is home, and we are in that gym every day practicing, and we do, like, mind exercises, like, envisioning ourselves on the court. After practice, we do neurofuel, and, like, we do activation exercises, so we do a lot in our home court, like any team would, but I think that this year we've had a lot, like, the community has really shown out, and even last year, like, especially towards the end of our season. So I think that that's also been huge because like we feel Pirate Nation like in the gym, they're with us, and it kind of like every game that we win at home, it's like, well, we're undefeated, so we have to win the next one. So like I think that has carried into like even the 5-set matches that we win by 2 points, but it's like we're undefeated. So I think that brings even more fight into those matches. So I think that's like been a lot of help for those home matches.
I have a quick question. So you guys have been here for a year or two. How do you like having the band show up for the games?
I love the band.
It's so much fun. Oh,
Yeah.
we just love having people at our games. And the band is just they're so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was at ECU, I was a part of the band, and I always loved going to the volleyball games because it was like you never see bands really at volleyball. So it's such a neat thing that ECU does every once in a while. But hey, if we can get a pet band for volleyball, I think that'd be pretty cool, right?
Yeah. But as far as like being home, like I don't know what it is, but like when we travel, it's like I don't know, like sometimes it's like, man, like we gotta travel. Our travel schedule has been kind of crazy though this year.
Right.
So I think that's partially why too. Like just being home just like feels so good. It's like thank you.
Right.
But it's like it's our home and it's like we don't want to lose our home court. And we have people come to our games. It's like let's give them a reason to keep coming and to just come in the first place.
Yeah.
For sure. And right now, I mean, y'all are sitting at third place. You're in third place in the conference. I mean, really the top two teams you have losses to already, but you've got a chance to get redemption here in a couple of weeks. I guess about a week and a half or so against USF. Talk to me about like how y'all are feeling kind of as you're going down that final stretch of the season, knowing that hey, there's a lot riding and you can still make a move towards the top.
I think something we've all kind of been reminding each other is like to take it one game at a time, 1 point at a time, if that. And I think that has been helping us, especially the past 2 weeks, like the 4-0 2 weeks. It's been like reset every ball 1 point at a time. And so yes, like USF is coming up and that's going to be a really big game. But I think right now we're still focused on Memphis and UAB this weekend because at any time those two teams could catch fire and our conference is so unpredictable. So I think it's really just one game at a time.
I also think that I'm not gonna lie, I forgot the question.
all good. It honestly was a bad question.
It's not a bad question.
No, because I completely was thinking that the USF game was like next week, but no, you do have Memphis and UAB this weekend on the road. You play, I believe, at Memphis Friday, then UAB on Sunday, and then you're back home on the 8th. So next Friday against FAU, and then the 10th against South Florida. But yeah, I mean that's the athlete answer, right? And Ellie, you knocked it out of the park on the athlete answer. One game at a time, one point at a time. So shout out to you on that. but no, it's exciting and I like the mentality and I see it. And I've talked to Izzy quite a bit, like maybe not as much as I should have over the past 3 months during the season, but it seems like y'all are on the right trajectory. I want to ask you though, I mean, earlier this season, you went on the road. You played the #1 team in the country at Pitt.
Oh, yeah.
What was that feeling like going into Pitt? And I mean, yeah, you didn't get the win, but I mean, what was that feeling like? Okay, we're going to get to go up against the #1 team in the country.
We were starstruck. We were like, oh my gosh, Pitt. Like one of our girls, like I remember some people saying like when they were like younger, like they looked up to Pitt and everything like that. Like it's just we went in wanting to compete, not just high expectations or like just overreaching, but like just wanting to compete and like play our best, so
I had like the time of my life. Like it was so much fun. Every time, like, I mean, we had our freshman middle blocker, Alicia, was just like absolutely blocking these humongous #1 attacking hitters in the country, just left and right, blocking them every time. And like to see our team, like, okay, first set, I will say we were kind of like, we were expecting them to just blow us out of the park. And when they didn't, the second set, we were up like the whole set, like against the #1 team in the country. And I'm sure that being the #1 team in the country, that comes with being able to finish a set from behind. And they did that. So props to them. But I will say, like, within that set, we were so gritty and aggressive, and every single person did their job at such a high level. And I think that has like showed up throughout conference play, like FAU, for example, this past week. Everyone did their job just like it was in Pitt, and it was at such a high level that we swept them, and it was like almost easy. So I think that has like really played a role in our season up to this point.
It was definitely like one big party, and we were personally invited, like it was just, oh my gosh, you couldn't just, and they had a DJ. We were having so much fun.
Their band was crazy though. They were like saying so many crazy things to us.
Yeah. And Alicia, oh my gosh, the freshman blocker that Ellie was talking about, she really like lit a fire under us for real.
She was a dog. Like I'm not kidding.
I was so impressed, and I told her that. I was like, bro, like you're insane. Like your energy alone, because like I love when the girls like really like catch on to like some confidence. Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
She said, "I came here to win. Not play around."
Yeah, she was like, "What am I doing? Come on."
Pick it up.
Now, kind of going off that. So, what would a successful season mean to y'all? Like, what does that look like? Kind of finishing the season, going forward. What does this particular season, this team, what does that look like as far as like successful season going forward?
I think leaving this with like no regrets, and looking back at it and being like, yeah, like we could have improved here, but at the end of the day, like I'm really proud of like how we came together and what we accomplished over the course of the season. We have some big goals that we want to accomplish, but regardless, at the end of the day, it's just no regrets, I think.
I agree. I mean, obviously, like everyone wants to win. That's like the number one on everyone's goal board. Like winning conference, making it to the NCAAs. But I think that this team is so special, and we have so many seniors on our team this year that have like paved the way for like people like me, like underclassmen. And so I want to work so hard for them, and like they inspire me every day to be better. And so I think that just like every game playing as hard as we can, giving it all for everyone next to us, especially those seniors, and like giving them like the best last season. I think that's like the biggest thing.
And also
Love that.
we've dealt with so much adversity with the injuries. It's just like it really just brought us closer.
Yeah.
Because we were down people and we didn't have people, like it was like we need to do our best for them so they can come back stronger.
Yeah.
So.
Love that. Now, I don't know, Fran, you may have heard this question to EC's soccer girls, but so don't let their answer cloud your answer. What does it mean to be a pirate? So when somebody says, "Hey, you're a pirate," what does that mean?
Loyal and bold, baby.
Damn right. Damn right.
That's the correct answer.
Fire me up, Ellie.
For me, I kind of I make a joke about it like every now and then. I'm like bleeding purple and gold. Like you can cut me open right now, and
bitch, I'm a perp.
Purple and gold like coming out. Or like I think when we were, I don't remember when, but I think at practice or something, I already had a scab on my knee, but like I dove and I hit my knee and I started like, bleeding a lot. And I was like, man, you can never say I did not leave purple and gold in that court.
Quite literally left it on the court.
Love that. God, I'm fired up. And Artie, go ahead and ask your normal question.
So
then we're gonna have some fun.
Right. Ask this with the ECU soccer girls. Superstitions. Any pregame rituals, superstitions, things that you would have to do like every single game. If you don't do this, you're not feeling well going into the game. Like what is that?
Oh, I have like 3. Okay. I will say I haven't done this twice this year, and I like played fine and we won, so I think it's okay. But I like have to straighten my hair because like my hair is like not like it's like not exactly straight. It's just kind of like frizzy. But I have to straighten my hair, slick it back in a tight ponytail. Okay. I have to drink an Alani, and I have to have mascara on.
What is an Alani?
Yeah. Explain that.
It's like a energy drink, but it's like 0 calories and like 0 sugars.
I mean, I'll shotgun one.
You would have a head race.
I was just saying I used to shotgun multiple Red Bulls before like football games at tailgates. That was my thing. That was my shtick.
Not a good thing to do.
That's
Don't
insane.
Fran, what about you?
One thing I do for sure is I get some eyeliner and I put it underneath like I line my eyes basically, and like it's something cute. I do it all the time regardless if for a game or not, but it's just like I don't know, it makes me feel good about myself. Like yeah, like they're gonna see me across the net and they're gonna look at my eyes and I'm looking really cool. Like
she's that girl.
Yeah, for sure. And an energy drink for sure, and like maybe Ivory fan. You know.
Oh, Maybe
For
3.
sure. Yeah. Because I swear the energy drink and the ibuprofen mix, it does it every time.
God.
Every time.
I can see it.
Oh,
No.
we forgot the biggest one. You have to get the atomic bomb.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
must.
Yeah.
The what?
Atomic bomb. It's like I'm sorry. Let me just put you on. If you ever have any type of like inflammation, something is not feeling right, even if it's just a little bit, all you have to do is get this thing called atomic bomb, and it's like this bomb that is like so hot, and it's like it burns your skin. But let me tell you, you're not gonna.
Okay, I got you.
Gotcha. Like
Is it kind of like Tiger Bomb
or
Yes,
Icy Hot,
but like on
okay.
crack.
Okay.
Right. Okay. I thought you were talking about some kind of like concoction or something that you drink.
Yeah, like something
called
you drink,
atomic
yeah.
bomb. I was like, what are we talking about?
No. No. And it's ECU like athletic trainers, they all have it. So like it's fine, they'll use it, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to have an ECU athletic trainer on the podcast.
Logan. Put Logan on.
Logan, we're coming after you.
Oh my God.
Logan, hook it up, dude. I got back pain since I was 16, bro. No, yeah. I wanted to ask. So y'all know, I think y'all may know this. Izzy, a long time ago, was an intern of the Boneyard podcast. Mm-hmm. That's how we got connected with Izzy. Talk to us about her. Her quirks. What makes her fun to be around?
Oh my God!
We won't tell her. We won't tell her anything that you say on this podcast.
I could talk about Izzy forever. Like she is genuinely like one of the best people I know. She just has like the best aura. Like every time I talk to her, I'm just like, even if she's like having a bad day, she's so positive. When she went through her ankle injury, she came to every practice. She didn't, I mean, she rarely sat down and watched. Like she would be like shagging balls, helping us, like literally anything we needed. She had to miss like the first half of her senior season, and every game that I played in, she was telling me what was open, what shots were open. Like she could have easily sat there and been like, damn, like I'm missing like this is my senior season, like, and feeling sorry for herself, and she never did that. And she is like the most inspiring person ever. I love Izzy.
I told we had to do a mental health assignment that our coach makes us do, but this one was to like write like something you love about your teammate or anything that you admire. And I literally I was like, Izzy, it's so cool. She's just so cool. Like her aura and her vibe, she's just a cool girl. And like we call her, we say that she's like a little fairy because like she's very like light and like just, oh my gosh, she's so like nice to talk to. Like you can talk to her about anything. And
I feel like she's got a very calming voice too.
Yes. Such a good listener.
Yes. And like Ellie, like she helped me like when I like couldn't see like what shots were open and everything like that. Like just super helpful. And something I also admire about her is that she journals and like she writes down things, and like I do it as well. But it's super like nice to see someone else doing that too. So,
she's very in touch with her emotions. Like she's very centered.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, I do know that she can be quirky at times though. So talk to me a little bit about one of your favorite moments from Izzy Marinelli. Like I said, we are #1 Izzy Marinelli fans here at the Boneyard podcast. What's your favorite Izzy moment?
Okay, I think I have one.
That you can tell on the podcast.
Okay, whenever she is like playing defense or passing herself, she will like go for the ball and like put her head down.
She like,
I feel like I've seen pictures of that on like social media.
Funniest thing. Like I'm so serious. Like I've never seen anything like it.
I gotta see this. I gotta see this now.
Another thing to add on to that, sometimes when she hits the ball, her hand is like this.
Yeah.
We call her Barbie.
We call her Barbie.
If it's not fairy, then it's Barbie because she.
Gotta
And
protect those
when
nails.
she comes off the net, she'll like leave her hand like this, and she'll just be like, "What? What?"
She got
And
the
we're just like, "Izzy, what are you doing?"
Or like,
Wow.
oh my gosh, I can't like do it in her voice, but like, say like we're like picking on her, she'll go like, "Hey," like it's so funny every time. It's like her little thing, you know? Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Love that. No, I texted her very early this morning, and I was like, Izzy, we need some guests for the podcast. And I think I texted her at like 6:45, 7 o'clock, and she right away texted back and was like on it. So shout out to her. Shout out to y'all for joining us. I know it's late.
Absolutely.
We'll start wrapping it up, and because once again we appreciate y'all's time. Y'all heard us ask the question on to the soccer girls. It's your turn. Y'all been to Sup Dogs?
Yeah.
Duh.
Once or twice. What are we getting when we go to Sup Dogs? Maybe we get a big EC victory inside Minji's, and then we go to Sup Dogs to celebrate. What are we getting?
Okay, I love sub dogs for the vibes, like great vibes, but I don't like hamburgers and hot dogs like that. So
That's okay.
my order is the buffalo chicken sandwich.
That's all right.
That's good. That's a good alternative.
Hey, we do not judge or critique Sup Dogs orders.
So true, because it's all good.
Yeah.
I get the bacon cheese burger.
Damn right.
and I get also it comes with ranch. I almost said I get ranch, but it comes with ranch. And then I get Sub Dog sauce on the side too. Like, you know, like I double up on the sauces.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, double up on the sauce.
I get a little crazy.
Are we doubling up on the fries as the side, or are we changing with tots?
Sometimes I not only get the bacon cheese fry burger, but I
bacon cheese fries.
Yeah. See, I was gonna say,
the real
bacon
no.
cheese fries as the appetizer, and then get the regular fries as the side. So
yeah. I have an appetite.
Oh no!
Oh, we eat.
Look at me. Look at me. I'll have a bacon cheese fry burger with also give me a cheesy bacon delight, double the dog, and bacon cheese tots, and I'm good to go. Wash that thing down with 2 orange Sup crushes, and we're good. Please, I hope my doctor's not listening to this. But guys, thank you so much for joining us on the Boneyard podcast. We really appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the season. When's the next home game? Y'all got, I guess, next weekend, right? The 8th.
Mm-hmm.
So get out there. Get out to Minji's.
Get out to Minji's.
Fort Minji's.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Brand's hosting a block party.
Who is?
That one, Fran.
Oh, okay.
Block party.
Hosting a block party before the game?
No, like a block party.
Oh shit.
Come on, Jared. Come on now. You know,
look, y'all should have heard me. God bless. It's way too late. No,
it takes him a little while. It's okay.
That's okay.
It's that East Carolina education there for me. No. EC education is great. Thank you, ECU. Shout out that diploma there. Get out there and tailgate volleyball, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been saying we need to get I want a group of fans to go and just paint their chest with Izzy Marinelli across it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That is quite a few bodies.
There's a lot of vowels in that name.
Yeah. That's a hard one.
Right.
That is a hard one.
I imagine
maybe
they spell it wrong too. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Marinelli can get confusing.
Maybe we'll start with Ellie, and then just get the Marinelli.
Yeah.
From there, and then we'll add Izzy. We'll figure it out. All right. Well, best of luck, y'all. Best of luck the rest of the way. We'll be keeping up with you as y'all go on, and we're pulling for a conference championship this year. It's gonna happen.
Yep.
speak it into existence.
Yep.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank
Thank
you.
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 Good night.
Once again, that was Fran McBride and Ellie Pate from ECU Volleyball. Love it. Love it. Artie,
Yes.
we've been going at it for a little over an hour, about an hour and 15.
Now, hour 15.
Anything else you want to talk about before we go to walk the plank? I got a couple, honestly.
Yeah, no, I've got a couple myself.
Okay.
So we can go ahead.
Let's get into it. Josh, if you want to come in, if you got any, do you have a walk the plank this week? All right. My first off, I'm going to start with this before, because I'm worried Artie's going to take it. Artie, did you see this Dwayne Wade statue?
Oh my God. Yeah. Honestly, that would have been my honorary third walk the plank. Yeah. That would have been number 3. It's atrocious.
Absolutely brutal.
Atrocious. And
it looks
really
nothing like him.
For me, because I'm from Chicago. He's a Chicago native. I don't like when they do my people dirty. And I feel like they did Dwayne Wade dirty. Like, that's not like, he's literally the greatest Miami Heat of all time.
Yeah.
That's like getting MJ's statue wrong in Chicago. Like, you can't. That's like getting Dirk Nowitzki's statue wrong in Dallas. Like, you can't do this.
And apparently the statue was done by the same people that did the Michael Jordan statue in Chicago.
And that statue was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I've literally seen it with my own 2 eyes. It is.
That looks nothing like D Wade.
Like, I don't know who that is. I do not know who that is.
I keep thinking that it looks like this is gonna sound it looks like Mike Tyson, even if he had taken even more headshots.
I mean, that don't even look like Mike Tyson, man.
I don't know.
The bald head.
No, maybe not. I don't know, man. That just it looks terrible.
Yeah. Look, you had one job. You had one job. This is what you do for a living. How much time did you have to sculpt this? You probably had years to sculpt this.
How much do these things cost?
You had plenty of time. You didn't have to rush this.
I mean, that thing's got to cost like $100,000.
Yeah, these aren't cheap. That's why you can't make $1 million of them. They're not cheap.
Somebody had to have seen it and should have said, "Nah, this ain't it. This ain't it." Like, I get it. You want to put this out there, but this ain't it. We'll get you back in April when you go back and redo your work.
Just awful. Just awful. God almighty.
All right, what's your next? What's your walk the plank?
My first walk the plank, obviously Tyreek Stevenson, Chicago Bears.
I forgot about this.
The damn helmet. I hate that I even have to talk about this. We literally went into Washington and stole the game. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. We stole that game. Washington outplayed us. They probably should have won the game. We went in there and we stole a victory. And all we had to do was defend a Hail Mary pass where Jaden Daniels with broken ribs has to throw 55 yards down the field. And Tyreek Stevenson is sitting here jabbing at the mouth for almost 5 seconds into the play. Almost 5 seconds. Thank you, Josh, for pulling this up. Into the play. I'm just gonna let this play out, man. I'll just let this. Jaden Daniels has 30,000 minutes to throw the football, and then Tyreek Stevenson is the one that tips it. So not only is he the jackass that's jabbing with the fans, he is also the one that tips the ball that goes back to the receiver. How do you not box out? How do you not defend this? How do you not understand? The entire thing is absolute asinine. I hope Tyreek Stevenson has the absolute worst week he can possibly have at film, at practice. He's a good player. He's a starter. We can't get, we can't get rid of him. But walk the damn plank. Just awful. Just awful. Awful.
I feel like this is the week of walk the planks in the NFL. What is it? Tavon Diggs Like, did you see his
with the reporter? Yeah,
dude? You can't be going. He came out of the locker room after seeing one tweet, and the tweet honestly wasn't that bad. He was like, "What is he doing in this play? I can't remember what play exactly it was, but what's he doing?" And he came out and he was like mad at the reporter for doing his job. And then he's, what was it? He said, "You can talk about these nuts."
Out of that whole play, that's what you took from that. You don't know football. You can't do nothing that I do. You can't go out there and do nothing. Stay in your lane, buddy. Stop playing with me, bro.
Just asking the question, Trayvon. I mean, I'm happy to have you answer the question.
That's what you got from that whole play. That's what you got from that.
I'm asking you. We can talk about it more. What were you doing then?
Dude.
Yo, shout out to the reporter who did not back down. He stood on 10 toes on that. He stood on 10 toes. 10 toes. Shout out to him. Because he had every right to ask that question. So absolutely.
You said you had others. Do you want to?
My second and last one, and this one is actually the one that I'm talking to right now, and that is one Jared Shafford. Jared Shafford is my second walk the plank for this week, and the reason why Jared
I know where this is going.
Is my walk the plank for this week.
Freddie Freeman.
I remember vividly Jared Shafford telling me that Freddie Freeman was not needed in Atlanta anymore. Get out of here, get out of town. You're not a homer. We don't need you. Probably washed. That motherfucker ain't washed. He is clearly not washed. He hit another home run tonight, by the way.
I saw
6 straight World Series games. He's hit a home in every single game in this World Series. He's clearly going to be the World Series MVP. It's not even close. He's going to be World Series MVP. And had obviously one of the greatest moments in World Series history with that walk-off in Game 1. I think he's one of like 10 or 12 dudes that's probably going to have a World Series MVP, a Golden Glove, and a regular season MVP. Like that list is not that big. So, Jared, I love you, brother. But what you said about Freddie Freeman, there's a lot of gas left in that tank. A lot.
Josh.
Freddie Freeman, the first player to ever have a walk-off home run, walk-off grand slam, in the World Series. One of one.
There's a lot of gas left in that tank. There's probably over half a tank of gas.
Good for him. No, look. After the whole story came out, Freddie wishes he was still in. Freddie still wanted to be in Atlanta. His agent screwed him. But already go back and look at the stats. Look, Matt Olson is still a better first baseman than Freddie Freeman. He's younger. He's going to continue to be on that trajectory for a long time. And look, if you look at the underlying numbers of the Atlanta Braves this year, forget all the injuries. Like, look, the Braves had an absolutely atrocious year when it came to the injury front.
That's true.
They just did. The fact that they still made it to the postseason is a miracle. It just is. Without your MVP right fielder, you're missing your former Rookie of the Year center fielder for a lot of the year, missed your all-star second baseman and Gold Glove winner for most of the year. You missed one of your top catchers for most of the year. You later in the season lost your all-star third baseman. You were playing with, honestly, I could probably send Josh out there and play shortstop for the Atlanta Braves better than what we had. No, like, and then you get a platoon in left field that nobody knew who was going to start. And you had three guys that, like, honestly had basically retired manning left field. If you look at the numbers, Artie, behind the Braves weren't doing anything different. Oh, and let's not forget our Cy Young candidate pitcher went down early in the season with bone fragments, not needing Tommy John, in his shoulder or in his elbow. And then the guy that was a front runner for the Cy Young all year, Chris Sale, gets injured right before the postseason. So the Braves are set. This was just a down year. But if you Artie, if you look at the numbers, do yourself a favor and go look at the underlying advanced metrics for the Atlanta Braves this year. The exit velocity, the launch angles, everything is the same. This is the team that hit the most home runs or tied for the most home runs, I believe, ever in MLB last year. Nothing changed from an offensive perspective all year. Nothing changed. And the fact that they were middle of the road in home runs this year, the ball wasn't leaving the field. That's the Braves' bread and butter. And here's what it tells me. There was something going on with the baseballs from MLB this year. And look, you can say every team plays with the same baseballs. No, they don't, my buddy. No, they don't. They do not play with the same baseballs. Rob Manfred, who I've told to walk the plank on this podcast multiple times, Rob, buddy, you're a piece of shit. You don't want the Braves to succeed. You can walk the damn plank, you bitch. All right? That's all I got to say. Look, no, go back. Matt, I will still say Matt Olson. I would take Matt Olson now over Freddie Freeman.
Brother,
just would.
Nobody.
Congrats to Freddie. I don't hate Freddie.
Nobody is saying the Braves ain't good. Nobody's saying the Braves.
I'm just saying the Braves could have very well gone deep this year.
Nobody's saying the Braves are set up for the future
Jesus
to win
Christ.
future World Series in the next 5 years. All I'm saying is the way you talked about Freddie Freeman was, one, as if he might have been washed, and two, as if he's not an Atlanta great. That's an Atlanta great. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's all I'm saying. And that man is doing his thing.
I mean, congrats to Freddie Freeman. You joined. Look, this World Series, and anybody that's a fan of this World Series and likes this World Series and has been watching this World Series, you can go right. You can walk the plank yourself.
Because World Series sucked. It might be a Dodgers sweep.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Artie. The average MLB payroll is $150 million. Now, granted, the Braves are above that, but the average payroll is $150 million. You look at these two teams. These two teams spend over $300 million a piece on their payroll. These are the two biggest money teams in baseball. Nobody gives a shit about them. Look, I hate your fans. We all hate your fans. You're basically the Cowboys.
These are the two biggest brands in baseball.
Yeah, but like, really, are they? Like, they're big brands. They're big brands. But here, not like how many? Like, you look at a Dodger game. Dodger fans don't show up until the fourth inning, and most of the time they're gone. Like, yeah, maybe not in the postseason. Maybe not in the postseason, but if you look, Braves fans are always fucking there. Get out there.
You say this like you root for a poverty franchise. Get the hell out of here. You root for a name brand. You're a Braves fan. That's a name brand. That's a
I root for America's real team. Look, I've been through the mud with this team, Artie.
You haven't been through the damn mud. Get out of here. You haven't been through shit.
Artie, you know how hard it's been to be an Atlanta sports fan all my life.
And in that run, they probably should have won 6 World Series.
They should have.
But they couldn't do it.
It's hard as shit to be a Braves fan.
Ago. The Braves have never been a poverty franchise in your life. Not once in your life. Not once.
I would rather win a World Series than go to 15 straight postseasons, win 15 straight or whatever it was, division championships in a row. I would rather win one World Series than have that. I would rather have a World Series. Multiple.
You just had one a couple years ago.
Yeah, but when you go to 15 straight, you expect to win more. And the Braves would always shoot themselves in the foot.
You could never get there. You could never fucking get there.
And so
could be worse.
You got to know, Artie, that Braves fans are messed up mentally, especially then you look at Braves fans, most of them are Falcons fans too, and then you look at the 28-3 game. Like, it's tough being an Atlanta fan.
It's tough being a fan of 80% of sports in America outside of certain brands. So
I hate the Dodgers. I hate the Yankees. I hope they both lose. I don't care. It doesn't matter. This World Series sucks. I haven't watched this. I haven't watched a single second of the World Series this year.
I haven't gotten you this riled up in a minute. I'm proud of that.
No, look, I'm not riled up about you telling me to walk the plank. I'm riled up because I've been quiet about the Braves this year quite a bit. I could have talked my shit a long time ago, but when you see the numbers on Matt Olson, who led the league in home runs last year, and then like he hit 20 less home runs this year with his exit velo and launch angle being the exact same, and honestly, his batting average on fastballs basically being the same. Like he should have had just as many, if not more, home runs this year, and that's what frustrates me. But all right, Artie. My last walk the plank.
So
I mentioned I flew this weekend. I decided to fly out of Charlotte. Anybody that's been to Charlotte Airport knows how much of a clusterfuck it is.
yeah,
That airport absolutely sucks.
it sucks.
Like, and it's just look, I gotta watch what I say here, but you and I have had this conversation multiple times. I do not like the city of Charlotte. I just don't.
I love Charlotte, but I agree on the airport. Airport sucks.
It's just one of those things where it's just like, oh, Charlotte, come on, get it to. Why? I drove around 4 times trying to figure out where I needed to go for the parking deck, the right parking deck. 4 times I drove around. And then one time I pulled into where I thought I was supposed to go, and the guy was like, no, this isn't where you're supposed to go. You got to get a ticket, go all the way around the parking deck, come back out, go back around the airport, and then go into this other deck. And I was like, are you kidding me? And this isn't the first time it's happened to me at Charlotte. I needed a direct flight this weekend, so I went to Charlotte. Otherwise, I will forever and always. Raleigh's not much better. I will forever and always fly out of Greensboro. That's my walk the plank. Charlotte Airport.
Way better than Charlotte, man. I've honestly never really had a problem with Raleigh.
I don't know, like the, and then of course I was in that E terminal, which is like all the way over, like it. I looked at one point on the map on the Charlotte Airport app. It told me I had a 40-minute walk from security to my gate. 40 minutes.
I believe that.
It should not take anybody 40 minutes to walk to their gate at any point.
I believe that.
All right. I'm done walking the plank with anybody. Josh, do we got a gambling corner?
We do. We do have gambling corner.
Love it. All right. How do we do last week? I feel like I did pretty good last week.
So last week, Jared, let me pull it up real quick. Jared, you went 3-1 in all categories. And UTSA Tulsa, you were wrong on all accounts.
Yeah. Look, and that game was looking really good for us early on, and then Tulsa just went absolutely insane.
Yeah.
There in the last like 5-10 minutes of that game.
Mm-hmm.
So
right now, Artie leads the over/under at 26-18 on the season. Jared's second with 24-20, and I'm 23-21 on the over/under. Artie is also leading against the spread, 23-21. Jared and I are tied at 22-22. And on the outright, Jared is currently in the lead at 31-13. Artie and myself are both tied at 30-14. So it's neck and neck. But we are arguably, in terms of the outright, we are just miles above where I expected us to be.
Hey, we
know ball.
We know how to pick them.
Hey, look. I was somebody once told me I was a college football casual.
Hey, you never know.
I don't know ball.
So this week we've got USF at Florida Atlantic University. Florida Atlantic is currently a 2.5 point underdog at home. The over-under is set at 51.5. Artie, where are you going with this one?
Man, FAU is kind of where I thought they would be. I thought South Florida might be a little better. Like I thought they might be sitting at 4-3 instead of 3-4, right? With a chance to kind of position themselves a little better. I think this is a get right game for South Florida. I think they do beat FAU. What's the spread on this?
The spread is 2.5. FAU the underdog.
All right, so give me South Florida to cover. Obviously, South Florida outright. Over under 51.5. I don't know much about these teams' offenses. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of want to take the under though. I'm gonna take the under. Screw it.
All right. Jared.
This one's tough. I feel like Florida Atlantic has played better than their record. Granted, they have a bad looking loss to UTSA. Looks like dog shit right now.
Could easily see Florida Atlantic winning this game though. Absolutely.
Now Florida Atlantic's wins are over Wagner and Florida International.
Awful teams.
Just absolutely, not very good teams. They have a bad loss to UTSA. They've scored points at times. Like they had a shootout with North Texas. Just looking at it. It pains me to say this. I'm going to take South Florida spread, South Florida outright. But I think I'm gonna take the over on this. I feel like no, fuck it. No, I'm taking the under. I'm looking at South Florida scores. No, South Florida can't ball.
So you're taking the under.
Yes, I'm taking the under.
All right. Let me look real quick. I just want to make sure. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go FAU to win and cover, but I'm also taking the under because I don't believe in these offenses since Florida Atlantic is now a defensive team apparently. So
yeah,
FAU to win and cover.
I don't think either of these offenses, like, just looking at it and there's been times where I'm like, oh, FAU looks better than they actually are. But really, like, I think the only game where they do that is that North Texas game. They scored 37 points. Other than that, I mean, they haven't scored more than they scored 24 points against UTSA, which, I mean, UTSA isn't good.
True.
They scored 37 against North Texas, but North Texas is an offense team. Like that team's going to try to beat you by scoring 100 on you.
Yeah.
They don't play defense. So, I mean, they lost 48-14 to UConn. Like, I don't know. They scored 7 on Army. Hell, we even put up over 28. What was it? 28 against Army. And at that point, our offense sucked. They did play Michigan State tight early on in the season, but that was 9 weeks ago. If you would have asked me last week, I would have said FAU, but no, I gotta stay with South Florida.
All right. Game number 2. The world's largest cocktail party. Florida versus Georgia. Georgia's a 16.5-point favorite at the neutral site in Jacksonville. The over-under is 52.5. Now, as a Florida fan growing up as a kid, it pains me to say I'm taking Georgia to win. I'm taking Georgia to cover, and I'm taking the over because I think that Florida, as much as I want them to be good, just doesn't have what it takes to put up any type of offense against this defense. Jared, what you got?
Yeah, I think that. No, I would agree. I think that Georgia just right now at this point in time is leaps and bounds better than Florida.
Mhm.
I do think that Georgia wins, and it's going to be tight, but I do think Georgia covers. That's a lot of points to cover in the SEC, but I think that they do it. It's a neutral site game. If this game were in Gainesville, I would maybe feel differently, but this is a neutral site game. Yeah, it's in Jacksonville, but still. And then the over under. What'd you say? You said the over?
I said over.
Over. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning. Yeah, I'm gonna go over. So I'm gonna agree with you, Josh. Like Georgia all the way, and then take the over.
All right, Artie, are you gonna break the trend?
I say over, and I say Georgia wins because I think Georgia's a better team. However, I do think Florida plays this close. I think Florida's actually played sneaky decent over the last few weeks. I don't see them getting blown out in this game. Georgia's also, to me, not the dominant Georgia that they've been in years past. They play close against Kentucky, right? This is a team that can play close with somebody if they give them a fight. So I'm going to take Florida to cover, but give me the over and give me Georgia to win.
All right. Our national game of the week this week is number 1, Oregon Ducks on the road at the University of Michigan.
I don't even want to watch this game.
Michigan, Big Blue in the big house is a 15.5-point home underdog, and the over-under is set at just 45.5. I'll let Jared take it first. I'll let Artie have the pleasure at the end.
All right. I'm gonna take what was it? 15.5. Okay. I was seeing on here 14.5. I'm looking at ESPN bet. So I'm gonna go off what we got on the sheet here. Oregon when Oregon's against the spread. And I'm gonna take the under 45.5. I think I'm gonna take the under here. Michigan's offense. It's not stellar by any means, and then but they do still know how to play defense at Michigan. So I think this is going to be a game where Oregon wins. Like it would not surprise me if this game's like 28-10, something like that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go Oregon to win, of course, unfortunately. I do think that Michigan covers the spread just off of the fact that it is a home game. It is the first weekend of November, starting to get a little chilly. I think this kind of plays into that run game for Michigan a little bit. And I'm going to take the under as well, just because I think Michigan's defense can play a little bit better than what they have been, and maybe this is the game that they finally show just a little bit more. Artie?
Yeah, Oregon's legit. I mean, I thought Illinois was a pretty decent team. I thought they'd give them a game, and I saw them completely dismantle Illinois last week. A team that's already beaten us, by the way, in Illinois. So obviously, my brain won't let me do what I think what it should do, because I could really see this being like a 34-10 ball game. Oregon wins by like 24. I could see that. I could, even in the big house. Regardless, I'm taking the under. I'm taking Oregon outright to win the game, but because for some reason it's in the big house, it's at night, it's like you said, that environment. I can't see us losing by more than 15, and I just can't see it at home. I can't do it. I can't pull the trigger on that. So, and like you said, our offense is dog shit. We're not scoring a lot of points. but I think our defense does show up and do something. So I do have Michigan covered.
All right. And even though it's a bye week, we gotta put something on ECU, and I think this is an appropriate time to bring back the total wins for ECU this season. I've set it at 5.5, and
Over.
so I'm gonna go. Jared, you want to go over already? You want to just
Yeah, I mean we're at 4 now. I think you win the next 2 games. If you play like the way you played this past weekend, I do think that I don't know. I think that you have a shot to win 4 of your last 5 games.
Okay. Artie, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. We got FAU, we got Tulsa, North Texas, and Navy. I think with how topsy turvy this season has been, I actually only see 2 wins left on this schedule.
I mean, yeah, realistically, I see 2, but I could see winning 3 of the next 4.
I think it probably has to be the next 2. Now, look, Navy looks suspect against Notre Dame, but they just got exposed against Notre Dame. I still think they're a good team. I still think they can beat just about anybody outside of Army in the American. North Texas is North Texas. I don't know if we have enough offense to keep up with a team like North Texas, even though I think we can score against North Texas. It's got to be the next 2 weeks. I don't know if we can string together 2 straight or 3 straight. Actually, I don't know if this team has that in them. I think I gotta go on. I think we finished right at 5 and 7. I think we finished right at 5 and 7. Just because I don't know if they got 3 straight in them. I don't know if they got that in them.
The one that worries me the most is probably Tulsa because weird shit happens at Tulsa.
Yeah,
very true. Very true.
I'm not worried about Florida Atlantic next week.
I'm going to go over just because I think that this bye week, having a little bit more time to bond as a team, having a little bit more time to really prepare, maybe even, I understand 1 week at a time, XYZ. But now that you have new leadership at the top, maybe we start to not necessarily look ahead, but at least be prepared. Maybe there's some film cut up, in this bye week of the next couple of teams or the next biggest tasks. Maybe we've got some tape cut up of North Texas already that we're at least watching, getting a feel for it, understanding what we're going to be facing in a few weeks, but understanding like we still have a few games to get there. But letting that be the driver of let's go ahead and just knock out FAU on Thursday. It's a home game on a Thursday national TV. You're basically a single game by yourself on national TV. Let's show what Pirate Nation really is. Like let's as everybody's been saying, let's do it for the seniors, right? Let's get this win. And then after that, you go to Tulsa, whatever. You ball out, you keep that momentum. But then when you hit North Texas, it's less of a oh man, David versus Goliath like it was against Army, and it's more of a we have some momentum behind us. We have some momentum behind us, and maybe we pull out 4 straight, 5 straight to end out the season. It's not outside the realm of possibility depending on how you prepare this bye week, and that's so I'm going to go over.
I'll say this. Look. Navy, you say Navy got exposed. Navy had a lot of self-inflicted wounds on Saturday against Notre Dame. They turned the ball over like just stupidly. Like I didn't watch the game. From what I can tell, it seems like they dropped the ball. They didn't even throw an interception at one point, and they were fumbling it all over the place. Even without getting hit, they were just dropping the ball, literally dropping the ball. But I think that ECU having already played a team against the triple option and honestly being pretty decent against it earlier in the year. It'll help them prepare for that later on in the year. I'm not going to say that we're going to beat Navy, but I think that if you're going to beat Navy, like that's the perfect time to do it, the last week of the season. North Texas, I think if we see that offense that we saw against Temple, against North Texas might have almost as bad of a defense as Temple. Like North Texas's defense is not good. They get the way they win, they get into shootouts and they just outscore you. They are not playing defense down there in Denton, Texas. And I think Thursday night under the lights in Dowdy, and then you got to go the next Thursday. Back-to-back Thursday night games for ECU the next 2 weeks against teams you should beat. Now, here's the last thing I'll say. ECU's schedule the last 4 weeks of the season is absolutely wild. The fact that you have two Thursday night games, you have one more Saturday game. You play the next 2 Thursday night games. Then you play a Saturday night game, and then you play Friday night. Like, we've talked about rhythm so much this year, and having this extra bye week before you go into a Thursday night game, it's just weird, right? Like, if I'm Blake Harrell and JDB, I'm saying, okay, we've been preparing. We've been kind of getting healthy, getting right in these first couple of days of practice. But we're treating this Thursday, so Halloween, we're treating it as if it was a Saturday. And then we're trying to get on, okay, this is our new Saturday, right? That's the schedule I'm trying to get on.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Because I'm not trying to get to where I'm saying, okay, we're going to be treating everything like, oh, we prepare for Saturdays, and then we got to play 2 straight Thursdays. We got one more Saturday left in the season. 3 games that are not on Saturday at weird times, 2 8 o'clock kicks, and then a noon kick on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Like, it's you got to be right. The American Athletic Conference and ESPN did ECU no favors with this schedule as far as timing wise, but these teams aren't unbeatable. You just have to go into it mentally prepared the right way. So that's all I'm going to say. I've been thinking about that quite a bit. Like the next 4 weeks are absolutely wild. Like no team. It feels like we're playing in the MAC. This is what it feels like to play in the MAC when you play it on Tuesday night. You play 2 straight college football's on Saturday. Look, I like the Thursday night game once a year, but 2 straight weeks back to back, and then you got to travel within one. Nah, that's for the birds. All right, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
Good episode this week, boys. Lots of fun this week.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you subscribe to the Boneyard Podcast on YouTube. Give us a subscribe. Hit that like button. If you do, you're a friend of the podcast for life. If you don't, Artie,
walk the damn plank.
Damn right. And then also make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, whatever. Subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. If you do, you're best friend of the podcast for life. If you don't, you can walk the damn plank. And then also follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast and at the Boneyard Podcast on TikTok. Lots of great content we've been putting out. Really proud of it. Excited for the next 4 weeks already. We got 4 weeks to get bowl eligible, and then
yes, sir. Only need 2 left.
These next 2-3 months, are going to be a lot of fun tracking this coaching search for East Carolina. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications for our tweets and our YouTube. So thanks again. We appreciate all of you. And then, let's get the hell out of here, Artie.
Hey, excellent show tonight. We appreciate the ladies of ECU Soccer and ECU Volleyball coming on to assist us with that. Great conversation. As always, wash your hands, wash your butts. Until next time, Power Nation. Deuce.